Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears. And unfortunately right now we are within a flashback that is having a flashback. So if you get confused, that's why. Anyway, we've already seen this flashback, so that's fine now. But we just get kind of familiarized with it. So yeah, Krelian used to be, not much of a reader, and Sophia helped him, and now he's reading lots of books. What is he reading? Something I borrowed from Melchior. Yeah, nanotechnology. So this tells you how far back his research into nanotechnology has gone. And at the point where he began, it was about 500 years ago when all of this happened. This is just kind of during the war, I guess. Not before it began and not after it ended, for sure. Ancient Ruins of a Zeboim Civilization. It's a copy of someone's research report, but it's incomplete. Just kind of keep that in mind for later. Where he got it, Zeboim and all that. And with that being said, ending that flashback, going back to just one flashback, or we could flash back to another flashback within a flashback and another flashback. Yeah, we've already seen this flashback too, but this one, it's a little bit different. It's a different part of this scene. What's going on here? I don't know. I just can't paint right now. We should stop for today. Well, she's looking out for him, at least. Yeah, of course, Krelian is like the leader of her militia, her guard force, her special guards, or whatever. And there we go. We get through those two, and we're back to the original flashback. Them sitting around a campfire. Flashed out at random. Everyone around me feared me, even my friends. So it seems that Krelian went from kind of evil to pretty good to completely evil now in the present. Oh, well, that's nice. One thing of note is, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but the location that Sophia was born was actually the same country. I don't know if it's the same city, but it's the same country where Krelian was born. They were born somewhere else. There's a lot of countries in the great lore of things that they don't really explain because they don't exist anymore. 500 years later, there's basically two big countries on the continent of Ignis, and that's it. I guess everything else got kind of swallowed up in the meantime. Those countries actually were not around at this point in time, as far as I know. There was a bunch of smaller countries, and a lot more of them, so maybe that's why they've all been swallowed up in the present day. Stop painting, huh? Why? Shouldn't be painting at a time like this, during war. Why would she need to go to the front lines? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. She's supposed to be your spiritual leader. She shouldn't really be on the front lines at all. We wouldn't put the Pope on the front lines, would we? Or some other religious figure. That's the only one that came to mind. I don't know. How is her smile killing you? Why? So he's got a bit of an emotional issue here. He feels worthless. That does not help. So he was enjoying it. He obviously enjoys painting her, spending time with her. Suddenly, I couldn't. So your supposed worthlessness is coming through in the painting, and you're not making it as beautiful as you want it to be. So basically, you're not good enough for her, even in the only thing you think you're good at. See where this is going? Yeah. You would think if she was willing to share, then that would kind of even you out a little bit. Sounds like you're being a bit of an asshole there, Krelian. Why? Well, because she's being painted, obviously. Why are you repeating that? You seem a little more upset about this than you probably should be, unless... Yeah, we have a bit of a love triangle going on here, hence why when Sophia died, these two both had their separate issues, right? One became evil, the other became, well, evil. And what do we have here? Another flashback within another flashback. Oh? Yeah, if you notice there, the gear that she had, it was Ellie's Omni gear. Ah, well there's Mr. Roney. Kind of looks somewhat like Bart, but it looks a lot like Sigurd too. Her smile, I don't know. Smile in this picture is somehow different from the one she usually shows us. I realize Lacan's feelings are in the painting as well, but I don't think she's ever opened herself up and shown her inner self to others like this before. Yeah, he's really kind of down in the dumps right now, a little bit overly depressed. It's a fight for freedom. Yeah, so Lacan, even though he's just a painter, he's also kind of been part of this rebellion. He's on the battlefield with some of these other people as well. And this is true. You can't really fight for some kind of, you know, a belief or a desire or a cause if you have nothing to offer, right? Well, there may only be one life to live and no afterlife. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But at the same time, you are being super depressed, buddy. What do you mean he's lying? Oh. Well, that's a different way of interpreting it. And again, very, very depressed. Again, like something like this that you see in a JRPG, usually you see depressed, you see either someone at a bar all the time, or you see, you know, someone just not wanting to talk to anybody. But here, we actually go through a lot of the symptoms that you would see of depression, you know, not finding pleasure in the things that once brought him pleasure, spending time with her, painting, you know, that self-hate all the time, you know, feelings of worthlessness, etc. There's a lot of truth to what they've shown here if they're trying to illustrate, you know, a depressive episode. Yeah, here's where we learn that they're brothers. And look at what we found here. Well, she's not really a third wheel, she's the extra wheel. She doesn't spend a lot of time in this flashback. Tomorrow we will leave for Soylent. We know where that is. For once, I actually agree with Krelian. That is pretty ridiculous. Why would you bring the leader of your rebellion into the main city of... Well, it's not even the main city. It's the system. It's the human recycling system and manipulation system. Why would you bring your leader there when that is the enemy? It makes no sense. It is too dangerous. What are they thinking? It wasn't the council's wish. It was Sophia. Huh. I'm not sure if this is just a lie that Zephyr and the elders came up with to convince these guys, and that's part of their whole reason for the flashback, to explain what she did wrong, or if this is an actual truth. But, yeah. I like how they put the music in the background with some scenes and just kind of drop the volume. I know it's kind of hard to tell because I have to drop the main game volume so much anyway, and it's kind of hard to hear. I just want to make sure that my voice carries over top of the music and the sound effects, but they do a pretty good job in some of the scenes of just dropping the music that we were just listening to a lower level to put more emphasis on the current scene as opposed to the previous scene. Yeah, Krelian is a little bit obsessed, and Lacan is a little bit depressed. They both have problems. Yeah, you haven't slept since the day before yesterday. You really need to get some sleep. Yeah, you are a military leader. You have to be able to make good decisions. So, go to bed. Get some rest. I don't know why he's walking so slow, but... You just said you'd watch over and then you walked away. Okay then, I guess he's leaving room for Lacan to have his moment. Yeah, he's the only one who gets to call her Ellie. Everyone else just refers to as the mother or Sophia. It was my misjudgment that did this to you. Terrified. You could see right through me, your eyes, that look. That was me that was being reflected back in your eyes. I was looking at myself and thus painting myself. I couldn't stand it. That's why. What did you see in him? On second thought, no. Too much of a coward. Don't want to burden you with my concerns. Besides, I wouldn't be able to ask you. One look in your eyes and I can't say a thing. Well, good thing she's awake. Now we know what she sees in him. And just to make it really obvious, she explains it. You're someone who cannot bear to see others hurt by your own actions. Hold everything in and bear all the burden. if you get hurt in the end, you think that's fine. And that's what I like about you. You protect everyone. Yeah, again, if you remember some of the things that Ellie was saying to Margie after her love scene there with Faye, some of the same ideas kind of creep into Sophia's speech here, which again echoes that they're just, not only are they just women, as she says, but they are also very similar to each other in their thought processes. Basically, she's saying loving him will mean, if she needs to, in order to do that, she will throw away everything else. She doesn't want to live a lie and be someone she's not. She doesn't want to be Sophia. Yeah, you just kind of did. And yes, Krelian sneaking at the doorway, overhearing all this, and probably not being happy about it. And now he's in a gear. Still fighting the good fight, I guess. And now we get to see this scene all over again for some reason. I wish they would have done this without all of the old filter over the scene there. This time, we get a little more to it. What are you doing, Sophia? And what's going on this ship? Oh. Yeah, so this is basically her taking the ship by herself and on her suicide mission that they've already mentioned. Please open your fist and with your open hand gently hold the people who will continue to live. They may or may not be able to do that. We don't really know the whole situation, but we don't need to. There's no other way. Of course, that's the same line you always see in this situation, but... now we're just kind of getting a better pace for it. Even though they've cut back a lot of the areas we would go to and a lot of the plot in the second half of the game, the second disc, this is one of the scenes they do quite well, even if they're just doing it in flashbacks. Yeah, she seems to like telling people to live, even though obviously she's not at this point. Yeah, everyone seems to have lost someone in this scene. Not the happiest of scenes. He's still painting. But we know from a fact that that painting was never finished. And if you remember the original scene, they actually mentioned that the brushstrokes, I believe it was Satan who said it, they were very similar to Faye's technique. Considering they look alike, that I guess makes sense. What have you guys been doing? Our salvation is, the war is kind of over and we lost Sophia. God didn't answer our prayers? Is that because we didn't have faith? Even if we didn't have faith, Sophia did. Why did she have to be sacrificed? Is God dead? Is he not there? Maybe God never even existed to begin with. All different ideas of different philosophers in the past. Faith in God? Do not look for it on the outside, for it is something one must build from within oneself. Again, that really echoes things that Ellie said to Margie there. I see. That's it. If God doesn't exist in our world, then I will create God with my own hands. And that's the line they were mentioning. I guess that's the last line that Zephyr overheard, because he also says this, but that's presumably under his breath or something like that. I will destroy all such false pretenses of love for you. Yeah. You can see that Krelian is a deeply flawed and deeply scarred man now. We never beat them if we fight them individually. So let us create a country that can someday stand against them. And of course, this being Roni Fatima, this is the founding of Ave, basically. What is Lacan gonna do? I guess that would explain why they would have needed larger countries in the future, so that they would be able to, they wouldn't have those problems of having these small countries that couldn't stack up and would actually be able to defeat such a large country and a powerful country as Solaris. Ah. This will probably be close to the final scene for this episode. This one is important. This is Lacan, not Faye. Well, they say it, that's good. He sees Ellie. Oh, kind of looks like Ellie, too. Well, the Sophia Ellie. Sorry about that. She's alive? No, that's Miang. Now, if you remember the deal that Zephyr mentioned before, the deal was that if Shavat took control and imprisoned Miang, who had too much power for the Gazelle Ministry to deal with, obviously they've obviously taken control of her and put her into prison in Shavat. And Lacan, also being from Shavat, I don't know if they've ever mentioned that, but he has been. And yeah. So, if you only had power, you could have saved her. Knowing that he becomes Graf, don't you see who's kind of manipulated things behind the scene here? She may have even been working this so that she has that kind of ghost image of Sophia that he saw when he first got in here, and the one that's appearing behind her now. You want it, don't you? Unrivaled power. Don't you want to become the absolute being? Yeah, so that's basically the reason why he went searching for all the power. That's what I have sought after. This scene, unfortunately, is automated, so I can't stop here. But next time I get an opportunity, we'll cut the episode off there. Wait, that's not what I want. No, this is my very desire. To live. So this is where Faye's being held. He deserves it. But that's all the time I have for this episode of Let's Play Xenogears. Next time, we will continue with the very long sequence ahead of us. It just kind of all fades together. There's a couple battles coming up too, and after those couple of battles and a whole whack ton of scenes, we will finally be at the point where I can bring back the opening scene and we can analyze it with the new knowledge that we both have and will have in the future. So that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.